Well, good afternoon, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. Welcome to the Tuesday Raiderland Podcast. Today we're talking about Big 12 expansion, the move that did not happen, and try to put in context what played out yesterday. Been telling you for really months now, whether it was on TV with David Collier on Channel 28 and Last Call, or on the Periscope or podcast or writings here, Big 12 expansion was destined to fail. It was a complete setup, and what you saw yesterday was the end of the beginning of Texas and Oklahoma laying the groundwork to leave the conference. They needed plausible deniability. They needed an exit strategy, and this was it. Make it look like you were doing everything you could to hold the conference together, to expand, do your due diligence, spend time and money, wring your hands, publicly support some schools. And then at the end of the day, know darn well that there was never going to be enough votes for any of the schools to expand, that the TV networks weren't going to allow it. But now politically, you've got your cover. Texas, and to a lesser extent Texas Tech, certainly played the University of Houston in this one. The minute they came out publicly, I said this is a poison pill because no one else in the Big 12 is going to accept another Texas school. Same goes for BYU with its own peculiarities, and you throw in everything else with every other school, and it just wasn't going to happen. So, what's next? Now the scrambling begins. The Big 12 will be picked apart at the edges like a dead body floating in the surf for the Sharks to circle and take advantage of. For Texas Tech, what do I think will happen? I think the Red Raiders end up west in some form or fashion. They were very nearly there back in, 2011, and this time around I think they do go, like I said, in some form or fashion. It's going to be interesting to see what takes place. What about the grant of rights? Doesn't matter, particularly when there's no conference left to enforce it, which is, I think, where we're heading. But let's say the lawyers get involved. They either reduce the payments, maybe a few schools get a little something, like an Iowa State, or a Baylor, or Kansas State, maybe prorate. Who knows? But the grant of rights is not going to hold this thing up. It was written by lawyers. It will be ripped apart by lawyers. Now, how quickly does this play out? Quicker, I think, than most people do. And here's why. The TV money may not be there if you wait till the end of all your contracts. And the networks may want to lock it in right now just to know what their costs are going to be. As cable subscriptions drop, as everybody goes a la carte, the big dollars flowing into the ESPNs, ABCs, CBS, all of that is beginning to trickle away. And it's going to have an impact on what happens with the colleges. So I think this thing doesn't spin out of control. It's just going to keep on spinning. But if you're the Red Raiders, get ready for some late-night starts, but here's the good news. The Pac-12 desperately wants to feature their schools in the Central Time Zone. You're going to see a lot of great matchups here in Lubbock and around the Central Time Zone as they try to feature some of their West Coast teams back east for TV purposes, Heisman, voting on the poll, you name it, all of that stuff. They want that window. And guess who has one in Lubbock, Texas? All right, we'd love to hear from you. We want to thank Domino's.com. If you're listening to this podcast right now, go to Domino's.com, order you up some great tasting pizza. Don't worry about anything else today. All right, we'll see you in Raiderland.